According to some, the Mets are the worst team in baseball and their manager is about to get fired. That's according to some, but the facts will tell you that actually is true because according to the stats, the Mets have the worst record in baseball. I think they are tied with the Royals, but what makes it even worse if you're the Mets is they have the third highest payroll of all time. So if you do the math, Mitchell, break that down for me.
How do you want that broken down?
I need that math. If you got the third highest payroll of all time, but the worst record in baseball,
It's bad money spent.
that's bad money ball, bro. Call up Billy Bean. His ass needs to get over to the Mets. They need to change something, bro, because since July 27, 2025, that was last summer, man. It was hot. Everyone was chilling out there at the beach. They have the second worst record in baseball, bro. 29-50 since July 27th, 2025. That's a 79-game stretch, Mitchell. That's not like a small sample size.
That's a 59-win season over 162.
Damn. Third highest payroll of all time, Sam. That did kind of hit me in the core of the anti-Mets rhetoric going around. If you throw that stat at a Mets fan, they might have a heart attack. Frank the Tank won't have a heart attack because he lost like 400 pounds. So since July 27th, Frank the Tank has lost 120 pounds, and the Mets have lost 50 baseball games this week.
Are you blaming Frank?
I don't know, man. They were better when he was obese. He still is obese, probably, technically. But they've sucked forever. So I would not blame Frank. I think Frank probably deserves the least amount of blame. Let's pause for dramatic effect, bro.
Moment of silence for Frank the Tank.
Before we get into the fucking real shit. So they played the Dodgers, and that was a bad matchup for the Mets. They go 0-4 against the Dodgers, which is not true because they only played 3 games, but they lost 0-4 the first game. They don't get a runner in scoring position in the first game, the Mets. Game 2, they lose 2-1. Leadoff home run for Francisco Lindor. They looked like they were coming out hot. Not really. They don't score another run the rest of the game. Brett Baty strikes out with the go-ahead run in scoring position. That sucks for Baty. I think Baty is the worst qualified hitter in baseball right now, or close to it. As of Wednesday, he was the only player out without a walk. Do you have any numbers on Baty? I'm pretty sure Baty has been the worst player in the league.
So he did draw a walk. Congratulations.
Let's go.
His on-base percentage is finally higher than his average. He is not the worst hitter in baseball, but he's close to it. His OPS is the 21st worst in baseball. He has a 483 OPS.
Okay, well, let's not kick a man while he's down, dude. Jeez. How many more stats do you got on Brett Baty being a piece of shit?
I think that's it.
That's it. All right, cool. He's going to come back alert for Brett Baty's season. But Steve Cohen comes out after game 2. 2 losses in a row. I think it was actually at that point, what was that, 7 losses? It was probably like a 7-game losing streak. Steve Cohen, the billionaire owner, comes out, says, nobody likes to lose, but I saw some, quote, green shoots tonight. On offense, Lindor had 2 hits, including a home run. Bichette got a double, hitting it to left field as opposed to recently being right field prone. I love when like a guy like this comes out and starts talking ball. You know, I love going opposite field. That's a good sign. When you start going to all fields, that's when you know you're going to get hot, according to Steve Cohen. Bench got a solid hit. Soto started his running progression today. Simeon hit a shot. That might have been a home run on a warmer night. Finally, Nolan McLean. That has been their one shining star for the Mets this year. Nolan McLean, you got a tidbit on him? Because I think he's been one of the best.
Been one of the best pitchers in baseball the entire season. He had huge expectations coming in. Kind of struggled in the WBC, but he is 16th in WAR this year. So he's like the only bright spot this season for the Mets, and he's been very good.
Yeah, other than that, not so good. Evan Roberts, WFAN, says Steve Cohen needs to shut up. Because after he makes his tweet saying, Mets the results aren't there, but we're looking better, it did not get better. So they lose game 3. They get swept by the Dodgers. They lose 8-2. Shohei strikes out 10, gives up 1 run in that start. Mets scored 3 runs that entire series. So in a 3-game series, they score 3 runs. They hit 132 against the Dodgers, a 158 on-base percentage with a 209 slugging. Bo Bichette kidding. I'm literally kidding around. Bo Bichette, 2 for 11 in that series. Francisco Lindor, 2 for 12 in that series. According to him, he's got a new strategy. He's just watching his own highlights to remind himself how good he is. And I like that, I like that. I'll start doing that myself.
You're going to pull up what era for you? You pulling up?
I don't know. There's so much. I don't even know where to start. My highlights are so long. We wouldn't even be able
Just before the shoulder injury, right?
Oh, yeah. The shoulder's barking.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to play a softball game this season. But it's also my clavicular bone, bro. I hurt my clavicular bone. I go to the doctor. They keep talking about clavicular. I'm like, the guy, you guys know what you're talking about, right? The guy from fucking Twitch.
You talking about your clavicle?
Oh, yeah. No, it's clavicular.
I don't know.
Wait, so that guy on the Hot Guy, he just says clavicular, but it's clavicle?
No, his name is clavicular, right? I have no idea.
Where's the
think
clavicle,
so.
bro?
I don't know. Where on the body? Where is it?
Yeah.
It's this.
That's what I'm fucking with, dude.
Yeah.
My shit, I think it's dislocated or something, but I've been doing my stretches. I'll be back. Shoulders probably might need surgery on that one. Either way, Luis Robert 0 for 11 in that series. They scored 16 runs in their last 9 games. That is after the Dodgers series. So after the Dodgers series, it was looking like it couldn't get any worse. 16 runs in 9 games is the second fewest in baseball during that span. They also scored 6 of those runs in 1 game, so even worse. They've scored 1 or less runs off 9 of the last 10 starting pitchers they faced. Again, this is after the Dodgers series. So we're not even getting to the series after that where they played the Cubs. The Mets have 4 players in the bottom 25 in OPS. That's Carson Bench, Brett Beatty, Marcus Semien, and Jorge Polanco. And that hurts a lot too, because if you look at the players who are really struggling for the Mets, it's 3 of those offseason acquisitions that have been really bad. Bo Bichette, Polanco, and who's the third?
Roberts really started to struggle.
Yeah, well, Robert, I think he's like a league average hitter on the year. Who am I missing? The third guy who they got this offseason. Bichette, Polanco, and Marcus Semien. Marcus Semien with a 525 OPS. Not good. Their playoff odds went from 88% on March 27th. Now they are 57%. Sorry, they're even less. I think they're 53%.
Even less.
What is it?
This was after
48%.
Yeah. This was after the Dodger series is when they had 57% odds. And you think, man, that's a huge drop. How much worse could it get? And then it gets even worse.
It got worse. Kodai Senga gives up 6 runs in 3 1/3 innings in game 1. Only scored 2, lose 4-2 in game 2. I'm sorry. In game 2, they lose 4-2. Game 1, they got blown out. Going into the Sunday game, they tried to get their energy up in the clubhouse, started blaring music really loud. Didn't really work. So they had a 1-run lead going into the 9th. They thought, man, the Mets were going to win one. Up 1-0, bring in Devin Williams, their big-time closer. Gives up a lead-up single, then a double. Cubs tie it in the 9th, then win on a walk-off sac fly in the 10th. So they score 1 run, blow a 1-0 lead. And that is an 11-game losing streak for the Mets. They've scored just 19 runs in 11 games. And 10 of those runs came in 2 games. So that is their biggest losing streak since 2002. And Carlos Mendoza is on the hot seat. Kind of like the seat I'm sitting in right now, a red seat, but I'm not in the hot seat. You can't fire me, bitch. I'll blow this whole place up. If it ever came down to it, if you guys try to mutiny me from the podcast, I'll explode the whole building.
It's your office, but
Exactly.
go down with the ship.
That's why Mendoza, he doesn't have the same leverage as me. He doesn't own the Mets. Maybe if he paid for the stadium, he couldn't get fired. But they're saying Mendoza might be in the hot seat. They're calling this decision not to pitch around Nico Hoerner. So it was a extra innings. They had a runner on third with 1 out. Nico Hoerner is at the plate. He has the 5th highest contact rate in baseball. They also have 1 out, so walking him would have set up the double play. And then you had Michael Busch coming up after him. And Michael Busch, I think, he was 0 for 4 in that game, I know, and he's been the worst hitter on the Cubs, I believe, having a very tough season. So you'd think also a double play candidate, Michael Busch, not the fastest guy ever. You'd think that you at least consider walking Nico Hoerner in that situation. He says afterwards he didn't even consider it.
That's mind-boggling. That's like the one time where the uncle on the couch is saying, they should walk this guy, and that guy is right.
Ooh.
Like, this is bad management. I don't
So
even know.
Mitchell's the uncle on the couch over here.
I don't know how you don't even consider walking Horner. Like, Horner, all the Cubs need to do is put the ball in play, right? And Horner
Not
puts the
necessarily.
ball
Hey,
in play better than anybody in baseball. And you don't even think about walking him. It's crazy.
Listen, devil's advocate, to stick up for Mendoza, if you walk corner in that situation, now you do set up the double play for Michael Busch, but if you walk corner, that means that who's coming up after that? Alex Bregman. Alex Bregman, I don't think he's had the best year so far, but he's probably the best hitter on that team, so they want to stay away from Bregman. Also, I mean, they don't win the game if he puts it in play. You know, you get a ground ball, pop fly.
You have one of the fastest players in baseball on third base, though.
Who's that?
Pete Armstrong.
Pete Armstrong. Infield's in. Listen, Mendoza, maybe you should have walked him. In hindsight, you should have walked him. Because what do you do? Hits a sac fly, and the Mets lose their 11th in a row. So during that 11-game losing streak, second worst ERA in baseball. They're last in runs. The offense is the bad spot, as we've reiterated a few times. Lowest on base percentage, lowest slugging percentage, and worst OPS in baseball. Other than Francisco Alvarez, I don't think they have one player who's above league average during that span.
No,
In the whole
Alvarez is
season?
their best hitter during this losing streak. He has a 716 OPS. Aside from Bo Bichette, no one else has an OPS over 6 during this losing streak.
Ooh, that is bad. That is
when
bad.
you score 19 runs over 11 games, like that blows my mind.
That is. Especially a team like the Mets, who coming into the season, I don't know if you could check their projections real quick. I think they're probably projected to be definitely at least a top 10 offense, maybe a top 5 offense. But Luis Robert, 592 OPS, Lindor, 565 OPS, Simeon, 538 OPS, Benj, the rookie, 483 OPS, Polanco, 350, Beatty, 330, and Vientos, 231. That's all during an 11-game losing streak. And Tommy Pham, Jack, close your ears, bro. They thought he was going to be the spark plug. Not yet. Has not reached base in his 8 plate appearances since being called to the Mets. The only guy who's actually hit a little bit is MJ Melendez, but he's only had 16 at-bats. He's the only player with a positive WAR during the last 11 games. So that's tough. So Mets, I'm going to have to do it to you, bro. You suck. And the fans aren't letting him off the hook, and the New York media is giving him a lot of shit. So WFAN calls the Mets a minor league team, and they're blaming Mamdani now, who's the mayor. They're calling him the Mamdani Mets, because he hugged Mrs. or Mrs. Met before a game, haven't won a game since. That's what happens when you introduce socialism into baseball, okay? You don't do that, especially when you have the richest owner in the league. Get Elon Musk out to the field. Come on, we need some billionaires, bro. Jim Duquette predicted that Mendoza had a month to figure things out. So, I mean, listen, Mendoza, was last year his first year in the Mets?
No, it was 2024.
So 2024, I mean, he came out hot. The Mets had a great season, their regular season wasn't amazing. They had to fight in with the wild card series, but they did make a run, and then they were a couple wins away from making the World Series. And Mendoza and the Mets with the pumpkin and everything was good. Last year, though, not good. They fell apart after July, like we've said, second worst record in baseball since July last year. So this is an extended losing streak for Mendoza. So time might be running out. Playoff odds have gone from 88.6% to 41.8%, bro. And hey, to make matters worse, we want to rub some dirt in the wound. Brandon Nimmo, the guy they traded, 170 OPS plus over there in Texas. Could have loved it. Could have liked that in that lineup. But they don't have him, and currently they are last in the NL East, right above the Phillies, who are also sucked. The Phillies' worst run differential in baseball right now. They are 8-12. The Marlins and Nats are better than both of them. Right now, the Nats somehow, they have kept up the offense. Second best offense in baseball for the Nats for runs, right behind our Braves, who are in first place. Best offense in baseball. Only team to not lose a series yet. The Braves are in first place in the NL East. And we will cover all those teams later on, but just a snapshot of the NL East as it stands.